My dear guests, my dear viewers, what a ride it has been so far. We began this journey in May, making conversations that brought truths, breakthroughs, so many relatable stories, yet all so different. 23 episodes and everyone getting real about the mental side of being an athlete. The sacrifices, the weight of choosing your dream over everything else, and the joy that becoming our best selves brings along. Every guest trusted me with their story. Every one of you trusted me with your time, your hearts, and your struggles. Today, I'm giving you the moments that changed us. Watching back these episodes makes me so grateful for finding you and for finding this podcast and each other as a safe space for deep conversation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making this more than just a podcast. You've made it a community. Let's celebrate how far we've come and let's keep on winning the journey within.
So I remember when I was in college, I struggled so much because I was always seen as Kayla the basketball player. That's how everybody knew me. I was known for that girl that got a scholarship to play at Syracuse. At Syracuse, I was known as the basketball player, and that's what my identity was. So when I played really well, and all the praise comes, I was like on a high. And then when you play poorly or you feel like you're not producing for your team or the criticism comes, then I went like this. So it was like a roller coaster. And I realized like that wasn't healthy. That wasn't a proper way to be living. And I had to learn, thankfully, through FCA, Fellowship for Christian Athletes. It's an organization that they had on campus that I got connected with. Through them, doing Bible studies, I learned that, Kayla, your identity can't be wrapped up in what you do, which is basketball. That's just what you do. It's not who you are. And I realized like my identity needs to be wrapped up in something that was secure and permanent, and that's in Jesus. Being a child of His, being one of His disciples. He's consistent from day one to, He's been there yesterday, today, and always. And I find my hope, my faith, and my identity lies in Him, and I've been so much better off ever since.
Awesome, awesome.
You know, we're always trying to find a place to belong, to be acceptable, to be good at something, because you know, you as a kid you go back home and let's say you're not good at maths, you're not good on washing clothes or taking care of the house or other things, and you want to do something that really makes you happy, and at the same time someone sees that you're good at. So basketball was that one. And then just to make the long story short, as I was growing older, like teenager, and then it was my escape. I was living in a small place and I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to become me, you know, like get out of the box, get out of whatever they taught me or they showed me, see what's out there, find my way. I was a very wild kid that it needed to be a little bit disciplined, you know, like this, like shaped. And that was basketball for me, like my passion, my love, my way out, my identity later, like everything.
You know, the one thing you can't lose in this game is self-confidence. You know, it comes from the work you put in, not just this season, but all the previous seasons before, right? You did a lot of things good to get to the point that you're at now. Understand that. Continue to hone in on those things that you did good and try to tune out what you can't control, right?
Honestly, I have a high standard for myself. So I think I struggle with self-worth in a way. So it's like every day my goal is to, you know, be my best self. And I felt like when I fall short, I feel like I'm less worthy. And it's just me. Like, even though everyone else doesn't know what my mental is, but I struggle with that. So I think that's where I lean on God for, you know what I'm saying? Just to always remind me that my worth is in Him, and you know what I'm saying, how He sees me. But I think I would say self-worth is something I struggle with, especially at being an athlete, because you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, we're competitors, and you see this person making this much money, or he's in this situation. You're like, yo, I'm better than him. Why don't they see the same thing that I see? You know what I'm saying? But I think God puts you in situations so you can just rely on Him and not the outside factors.
Is that when the confidence becomes Godfidence?
Exactly. Perfect.
So do you want to tell me how did confidence come about for you? Like, where was that switch when confidence became
That's actually a good question because I don't really think about that often. It just became something for me that really meant something for me. I think, like I said, my natural reflex is to doubt myself, and I feel like that was the demise of a lot of situations. Not for me not being able to seize opportunities. Like for example, like me getting cut, like the coach that cut me, I was like, well, asking me questions, and like he was like, I just feel like you don't have enough of an ego. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have that. You know what I'm saying? That the it factor to know who you are, and obviously that what I'm saying. Like I said, I seek guidance from all different forms. So I'm like, thinking about it, and I had to be real with myself. Yeah, I didn't think I was good enough, or I didn't think I could do different things. So I put myself in a box. So confidence comes from that extra layer of knowing that He can give you the strength to overcome that. So I know if I'm gonna just use all my effort and will for myself, I know I'm not gonna get too far. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna get too far, and that's when I started really locking in on my journey with God.
And then I had an encounter in 2015 with an angel.
Wow.
And I was in Poland that year, and then it was crazy. And then after that, I was like, you know what, God, I'm giving my life to you. I understand, I know, like I'm here, I'm listening. And so when I encountered the angel in 2015, when I was in Poland, I said, I understand my life now. I understand my purpose. I understand, the things that God has me here on earth to do. And to be the person to be. And basketball is just something that I'm doing to expand His kingdom, to share the gospel with other players, coaches, fans. And so while, I'm still having the ability to play, that's all I want to do is just let people know who, my Lord and Savior is.
Let me think a little bit. I'll give you something that's truly personal. Well, I guess it kind of goes with my upbringing. All hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads to poverty. And it just basically means that you can talk a big game, but if you don't walk the walk, if you don't put in the time necessary, the sacrifice necessary to get to where you want, then poverty happens. Not only that you'll be poor, but you'll be poor as far as how far you are towards your goal. You'll be poor from getting that new promotion. You'll be poor from excelling and reaching your new goal. So I just kind of use that mindset and that verse. I say it every day when I wake up and before I go to bed, just to remind myself that even on those days when you don't feel like working out, you got to get into your routine. You got to put in your work each and every day, and you're one step closer to your goal.
Awesome.
I am a sensitive person. I've always been. And I used to think that was a weakness. Like I would cry, I would still cry really easily. I feel like now with getting a little bit older, not as easily, but I still cry pretty easily. And I used to think it was a weakness. Like I used to be like, oh, you're weak. And I was like, no, that's like my greatest strength. Like being sensitive and being vulnerable and being able to cry and just move forward. And, and I feel like being that sensitive helps me understand other people a little bit more. Like I always try to put myself on the other person's, being in their place and try to understand them in order to help them. So I think I understand that's my greatest strength.
I love that. Because that's me. Like everybody who knows me can tell you this. I can cry in a second about something, anything, and it was because always people tell me, oh, you're so weak. And I thought it was that, but I realize it's not. And I realize it's very healthy.
Exactly.
Because I can express what I'm feeling. I can move forward after that.
Exactly. My way of letting it out, it's cry and then keep moving, But it's just my way of dealing with it.
No, I love that. I love that for you.
Let's say you are somewhere playing, like I'm somewhere playing now and I'm going through something. It's okay to go to a teammate or to your captain or to your coach and be like, coach, look, like today I don't feel that good, or to your captain be like, I don't feel so good, because how you're feeling may come out in a reaction, may come out somewhere on the court that if they don't know about it,
they can take it personal. They can, come back to you when you're not ready to, and you're gonna defend yourself. So through experience, I would say say to somebody, so somebody knows on your team.
Wow.
When you're doing a lot of things in the right way, already your mentality is great. Basically, you need a mental coach. Of course, you need. There are various differences in we can affect a player, but if you wake up early and every day at the same time, you're already in the good spot. If you stretch in the morning, you're already probably breathing good. If you eat good food, probably you won't have problems with emotions. If you do weight room, you're also anxiety drops for 20%. So if you practice and you're on your goals, probably you are set up mentally.
When I work with athletes, something that it comes to my mind at some point is, okay, you have this level, and don't tell me why, but I know when you reach your top. If I would know how to measure, I would measure, and I will share with you. I don't know, but I know. And then, because I know, and maybe you might not know, my work is to gentle let you know that the acceptance road is coming, that you should be proud of what you get, and it's okay to be here, because this is your 100%. This is your 100%. And then, of course, always is somebody above you and always somebody below you. You did what you did, you're 100. Then be super proud, because not everybody gets to the 100. So, and then that's a conversation that you have to have. And now I want to see you keep performing and keep being passionate about your sport until you decide that it's enough. Because it's not everything about results.
Years.
I like it.
I think my agents have done a very good job of always making me feel like me as a person, like I'm more important than me as a basketball player. So I think I felt very comfortable letting them know, okay, I'm struggling. It's not all kumbaya and everything is perfect. I was like, okay, I need a break, and they were as soon as they saw me down, they were like, okay, no, you need to take a break, it's fine, we're gonna figure everything out. So I think I was very lucky to have agents like that, and they always, since the first time they signed me, they would always tell me that you as a person is more important than you as a basketball player. So I think it was very easy for me to talk to them. Yeah.
Awesome. Once you start working on yourself, really start thinking about, okay, who am I? Why am I this way? What are the patterns that I do that are not serving my life? What are the patterns that are serving my life? And you start asking questions, and you start to change and improve. And I feel like my 20s are really about this journey. But there are people you have to leave behind, and there are people who are there to teach a lesson. And once you learn that lesson, they just move on and just let them go. But if you don't learn that lesson, people who have to teach you that lesson will keep coming. Yeah. But as you mentioned, I always think about how this team is and how rare this is. And I really think that all the stuff that each individual went through their own lives, and how different we are and how weird we are and how much we had to work to accept that in ourselves, this is our reward.
I think so too.
This is the look, you worked hard, you went through a bunch of stuff, but here are a group of people who will like you for the way where you are. And it's not gonna be always easy, because it hasn't been always easy, but this is why you do it. This is why it's worth doing it, so keep doing it.
Yeah. That was definitely my journey too. I feel like
the more I worked on myself, and when I felt like I'm becoming who I'm supposed to be, I felt like I was rewarded with a group of people like you guys were at the beginning of my journey in Hungary, and then throughout all these 4 years. So I definitely feel like that's kind of a law, you know.
No, truly.
I feel that like that is
the work
the
you put in
case.
is always coming back to you.
I want to add is I have a daughter who is about your age. And my advice to my daughter from the very beginning, first of all, I didn't want her to be in basketball because I didn't want her to constantly be compared or feel pressure. My husband is also a basketball person. She went into tennis and then switched to basketball. First of all, you have to also know your child. You all be mothers, or you are. It's one of those things where I wanted to be motivational enough, to support if she's good at sport, which she's 188 and she was athletic kid. On the other, knowing the women's market and the payments and everything else, you want also for her to know, okay, there is more in life. I want you to have the opportunity to be a complete person. So we don't want to give the example always, if you want to be a leader, a woman leader, you cannot have a family, you cannot have a partner, you cannot have, a social life and all the rest of it. No, you can't have it all. What you have to do though is to plan it well and to be able to recognize the times and the opportunity and build the support mechanism around you. So to my daughter, I always gave the advice, play basketball, enjoy it, but use it also to also develop your other career, get into good university through basketball, play, try to get working experience. And for her, the transition it was pretty natural as well, and she has now also 2 children and career, but it was, don't just throw everything in one bag. Enjoy it, don't quit, but for the women, as we say, our windows of decision making and also the payments, the salaries, the opportunities are not as big as with the guys. So we have
I hope I would behave different than my parents, but not because they did it wrong. Like I say it, like I wouldn't accomplish anything. I wouldn't be nobody without them. Like they were the reason, I got where I got, but I hope I would do it differently, just, because mostly I think like I want to keep safe our like parent-kid relationship, because once you put other factors, the lines get blurry, So many times my dad had to be advisor, coach, manager, and he wasn't that, and in the end, especially when you're still a kid, you need your parent. You don't need somebody telling you if you need to work on your lefty and shoot like this and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I hope I will not be put in that situation with my kids, because I cannot guarantee that I would behave the way that I would like to.
Yeah.
Like, what is one advice that you would give your girls right now? Like, if there is one thing about basketball professional life, what would you tell them?
I think it's always the same major advice to me. It's like, do something or continue to do something that you love and that is your passion. I think that's the base for everything. It maybe sounds very basic, but without the genuine love for the sport, it's better that you dedicate time to something else. And I think especially with women's basketball still, because it's not up to the level of men, especially not financially and so on, especially in Europe. Or even in WNBA for that matter. Like, if you're now in the period, like my youngest daughter is 12, my oldest is 16, like if you guys chase basketball, great. But if you find a different thing that is your passion, me as a parent or my wife, we're never going to judge and say this is wrong. Never. If they find something else, like, and that's what I always tell also the kids at the basketball camp. My main message is find what you love and find what your passion is. Like, you have to know it. It can't be somebody else to tell you. And I think that's so basic, but so important, because I've seen examples of players or athletes who have failed because they haven't loved or didn't really care. And sooner or later that shows. Sooner or later that will get exposed. And that's why I think for that age of 12, 13, 15, 16, it's a time where you can still find yourself and find what their passion is. And I think that's the major advice I continue to give to my girls.
Everything worked out how it was supposed to work out, and what we wanted to was, getting pregnant. Hopefully, it was a healthy pregnancy, which it was, and then start with the national team. So that was my goal, to make a comeback and I was not fully in shape, but it was like a start for me to get back into the basketball while being a mom, which is so different. And uh, on top of that, like literally after giving birth, I said, like, all the moms are so freaking amazing. Like, I just wanted to hug every single one of the moms that I knew. And I was just like, you guys are amazing. Like, I am on that level now. Like, I get it. I know what you're going through. I understand everything now. Like, moms are like fantastic. So yeah, anyways, a little bit off topic, but yeah, so for me, for us, that was the whole little journey. And now playing back in Lithuania for the first time with a little son. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna start with I was on a first row and watched Cam come back. I was amazed every day. I told her that 1,000 times. I'm like, I don't know where you have this strength from. She came back so early and with a baby in national team. Like guys, like the woman what can do, like it's just
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just
Amazing.
speechless about that. And I mean, Dimi is angel. He's so good. He was gentle to his mom, but it doesn't make any easier. Like to go every day and then, to separate, to practice, and then to just like, okay, I have to be athlete now. My body is different, but like it doesn't mean I have, easier way.
Another thing that people don't really realize is like when you're pregnant and then you have your baby, your body really kind of just is on its own time and responds the way that it wants to. I mean, for me, I was in the gym basically my entire pregnancy and I worked out up until literally probably like 2 days before I gave birth, and I still gained almost 60 pounds. Like I gained a lot of weight and I was still very, very active. So it's really just, everybody's situation is different. And I'm 8 months postpartum and I'm still, working to drop that weight. I think that there's just a lot of things that you can't really control. I mean, your hormones, there's just so much that goes into it. And I think for me, that was really frustrating. As an athlete and for all of us as athletes, I mean, our bodies are literally our jobs and that's literally what we do and kind of like who we are. So I think I've had to really learn to give myself grace and kind of just allow myself that time, even though, yes, I'm pushing myself to get back to where I was and get back into shape. I'm also just a totally new person and my body is kind of new at this point. So I'm just figuring that out and navigating that. And I know that they can probably speak to that as well, but I think that's one of the hardest things with just going through this motherhood journey is that you kind of have to balance that with that like competitive, like I need to be in the best shape, I need to do all this, but you also like you have to be kind to yourself and allow yourself to kind of get there on its own time. So
I would just say the main thing is like not to compare yourself to anything. Like every baby is so different, every pregnancy is so different. You can have, C-section or like you can tear really bad. So you can't compare your comeback to anyone else. Like your journey is your journey. I think just trust in your instincts. Like there's so many people who are telling you, like from the family members, oh, you should do this or you should do that, or like I think it's good for your baby this or this. And I think just like really only you know what's best for your baby. So like really don't, like if you start to listening to every voice, every noise, like it's just gonna drive you crazy. I would just say like trust in your instincts, trust in yourself. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Don't compare your baby to anybody. Everybody's so different. And give yourself a grace. And just like it's a beautiful journey. It's hard journey, but the outcome is, unbelievable. It's life changing. You're never the same. You're never gonna be the same. You're gonna be better. You see different like things in different ways. Life is different. So I would recommend, but just like have very strong core in your life.
You and your mom, you hurt, you put pressure on yourself. Yeah, and in once you alone, nobody there anymore. So it was a hard time for me because your hormones still not okay as a woman, as a new mom. I could not take care of my baby anymore because I could not walk. So I had to move in again with my parents because my partner was working and playing. He still playing at that time. So I had to figure out how to get my salary back with the insurance. At once you feel really alone. There is no one there anymore. There was like a little light in my small depression, I would say, because I think that I had like a baby blues plus all the things that I had to handle. And my agent told me, call the person of FIBA. So at that time, I got in touch with Paolo. I don't remember his last name, which was a awesome person. He was Italian, so I played 5 years in Italy, so my Italian is pretty fluent, I think. I find a friend that it's like I felt it. I found a friend at that moment who gave me the light, who told me everything will be fine. I will help you out to get your salary and everything. So I think that if I didn't have Paolo at that moment, it would have been a lot worse.
So I stopped playing in January 2022. Years before, I felt like something was happening where I was not motivated, and I'm saying motivated, but not feeling the energy to go to practice every day, not finding joy in the competition or in the challenges. Looking back and reflecting, I can say this now because I took the time to think about what happened, which I didn't know back then. Was there were many events during my career, setbacks, that I never really knew how to leave behind truly. So I carried everything with me. I feel like things accumulated, and then it got to a point where things just exploded. And I think ultimately, like specifically, what led to my retirement was thinking, on top of not feeling how I wanted to feel, is thinking that I was wishing for an injury to be able to get out, And that's when I stopped and said, well, like, I think I'm crossing a line here. It shouldn't be that way.
So for you to be able to take that path early on, it's pretty amazing. And was it hard?
Yeah, like you say, here in Balkan, they teach us when we are young that we shouldn't show emotions. We shouldn't cry. We shouldn't show anything. And now I had the situation. I was leaving from the club. I was 9 years there. That's the club of my life. And I had the press conference where I needed to say that I'm leaving. And it was very, very emotional. I cried on a press conference, and I made a joke. You look at me now, look good, because you never saw a Balkan guy crying before. So yeah, I think that here they teach us it's our mentality, like to try to be tough, go through everything, and life sometimes hit you hard. It's not easy. It's not easy to don't show emotions and everything. And I think with the time I learned that actually it's your strength. Exactly. To be able to show your emotions. I think you're weak when you're trying to hide it. If you can show it and still be on your feet, I think that's kind of showing your strength.
That's awesome. I agree completely. And I saw this press conference.
And you saw it?
Yes. That's the first thing I thought was like, this is strength, for a guy to show the emotions, it's strength. And I am a pretty sensitive person, and I cry for the small things, and everybody used to tell me like, you're so weak, you're so annoying, but that's who I am. And I never try to hide it. And I think that's the biggest strength, like just to allow yourself to feel what you're feeling.
Exactly.
And get there,
Exactly. I was hoping that not a lot of people saw that press conference.
You need to learn. I think that's when I did the step of awareness that really makes me live basketball better, is when I learned who I am as a player, in a way that whatever noise comes in, I can block it, because there will always be the coach or the teammate that makes the face and you're like, oh my God, the teammate made me a face, what did I do wrong? There will always be this. In any category, any year, any season, I always found at least one time this thing. But eventually, first of all, be forgiving with yourself. We are not perfect, like we are human, everyone makes mistakes. And second, just focus on you, especially when you rewatch yourself, focus on you and what you did wrong.
How hard has it been for you to actually seek help and find a therapist or go to somebody to open up and and now we're laughing.
Yeah, it's just like when we play, it's like you get in what you put out in a sense, and I think that I actually got to a point where I actually admitted to myself that I was depressed. I think for so long I was trying to justify my behavior and pointing the finger to everyone else, understanding that like, okay, well, I'm doing the right thing, but at the end of the day, there's always something that like can be looked at in a different situation. And one of the biggest things I've learned from my therapist is that like my feelings is like validated, you know? So what I feel is validated, but it doesn't ultimately justify my behavior. So it's not an excuse, but it also gives me an understanding of why I could do something a certain way. And when I learned that and put it into practice, I feel like it's helped a lot.
It's not easy always to have good relationship, so it's important to find somebody to work. But really, ask somebody professional to work with you. And also I have to say relationship with yourself and relationship with God, but really, because He is always with you and you are never alone. And if you don't have like close family or friends, you have Him. But I really think and believe in this. And what is important, that sports players start to work on themselves before, because when you have problem and if you start then working with yourself, it's not easy and maybe it's too late. You prepare your body for sport or your life, and why don't prepare like your mind? This is important. Yeah. And also I say this for parents. Like they will pay, for example, a lot of coach to have like one physical training, condition training and things like this. And why don't pay like for mental training, for sport psychology and things like this?
It definitely makes the difference.
Definitely, definitely.
I love that you said that, because I feel like finding God in your life, and like you said, something bigger than you, it's something that's steady, it's something that's always there. Definitely. It's not fragile like people, it's not gonna leave, it's not gonna abandon you, it's always gonna be there. So I love finding strength in Him, and I love that you said that.
Thank you, because I really believe and I think there is no psychology or mental training without God.
What are some aspects of you being a player that you find the most valuable as a coach now?
I don't know if I can say specific things, but for me this is I feel like this is my biggest advantage as a coach, because I have been there, I have played a lot of time on the highest level, so I say this to myself often. I don't want to forget how I felt while I was a player, you know, like what I needed from my teammates, what I needed from my assistant coaches, from my head coach, how I was feeling after a good game, after a bad game, what did I need when I was really tired, how I will come back from a day off, how I will come back from a break with the national team if it went bad or if it went good, you know, like really trying to keep all these memories alive, because I have seen that it really helps me understand things, see things, and, you know, like catch them before they happen. You know, I can know when a player is really trying or is pretending to try, because I have done all this in the past, you know, like it's just trying to use everything in order to me become a better coach, but also to help the players become better, you know. And I feel the fact that they know that I know it that I know, you know, how it is to be you, to be on your position. I think it helps them as well, you know, because they don't feel distant from me. And I think it's important, you know, it's important because the respect is there, but it's not, you know, like the distance not chaotic, which is, it's good because like this we can connect easier.
I always thought that it was more important to advance with baby steps, more important than larger steps. Why? Because I always talked about it like with putting flags. I put my goals, I put a little flag. And I think if you put a goal every time during a year, it's better to put, for example, 10 goals that are in baby steps than 2 goals that are steps like that. Because once you don't reach a bigger step like that, you can feel really disappointed, and it can cause a lot of frustration, I think. So that was my mindset on this, and also I took it like that for my entire career. Basically, I played in Belgium. I felt like I shouldn't leave Belgium before I was a dominant player in Belgium. So I started playing there as a rookie first. Of course, I made a lot of mistakes, but I always gave 100% on the court, which is something that's really important also for a coach and for your teammates to see. That, okay, we put this guy on the court, but we know he's going to do everything that's in his possibilities in order to help us, and he will make mistakes, yes, but if he plays like this, it's okay. So, and then you get to your second year, you basically have to confirm, and then your third year is basically the step. For example, in my case, was the step where you say, okay, now I feel like I'm a dominant player in this league, and maybe it's time to put it to go for a next step. No, next step meaning abroad, a bigger league in Europe. And then I was discussing a lot with my agent, okay, where we go, because different offers came in. And also there we decided to make a smaller step first in order to later on make a bigger step. Because I think it's important, okay, if you're ready for a bigger step, you take a bigger step. Luka Doncic, for example, didn't need small steps. He's a huge talent. He was working well, went to Madrid on a young age, immediately came into the first team, and his evolution went super fast. But those are exceptions. This is not something that is happening every year with 5 guys, for example. So I did the same. I moved abroad. I first went to a team where you were, okay, here you're going to get your playing time, which is important for a young guy. Are you going to play to win the league? No, probably not. But you will be in a decent team that will compete to get into the playoffs. And like this, you start to grow and you get to know the different levels in the competition as well. So that was basically a little bit the plan throughout my entire career, that only I wanted to make a next step when I really felt ready for it. And that's something that nowadays sometimes young guys have a harder time with, the patience of building up something. And some opportunities come and you don't want to let them pass, but sometimes it's better to take a different path, a more patient path to success, I would say. So yeah, the goals are important, but as I said, I would always put reachable goals. I wouldn't put goals that are very hard to get to, because then frustration and disappointment can hit pretty hard.
That it's important, it's clear, and I think that this kind of discussions is a clear example on people opening something that 10 years ago was completely impossible. I don't think any of you would have thought I will be in front of a camera talking about these issues. So, first of all, I will say, saying that these issues happen and that you are free to talk about it and that it's not your fault, that you are not alone, and that you have support around you. This is the first step, that for sure. On my role at FIBA, not only me, but the entire team, we are building programs to support players like you guys, not only from FIBA, but with the support of your national federations. You are not alone. I think you, as you started the discussion, Lolo, I mean, what a story. And you felt alone for a time, but slowly you find the people around you that can help. And that's what we want to do from these types of organizations. You all played for national team, you all played for clubs. They are there to help you. FIBA, we are a federation of federations, so we are trying to give this support to our federations. And